The Man Whore Podcast is sponsored this week by Motor Bunny, the ride-on-top vibrator. Get $50 off a Motor Bunny starter kit at motorbunny.com by entering the code MANWHORE at checkout. The Man Whore Podcast is sponsored by the Pure Hookup app. Pure Hookup lets awesome people have casual sex tonight. Download the Pure Hookup app on Google Play or the App Store. Pure, the hookup app that says it's a hookup app. Now let's get to the show.
Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast.
Shout out to the orphan strippers and California cam girls. This is Billy Procida, and you are listening to the Man Whore Podcast. All right, everyone, how you doing? Welcome to the show if you're new, and hey, welcome back if you're not. I am your host, comedian Billy Procida. If you're unfamiliar, this is a podcast where I typically talk to women I've hooked up with about sex, dating, and why we didn't work out. Or with whom I've hooked up. Maybe that's the proper grammar. I don't know. This week's special guest is not one of my former flames. Gotta clarify that. Would hate for there to be confusion. I would never want to accuse someone of making out with me and making that poor decision if they haven't. No, this week's guest is comedian Amber Rollo. And I can't wait to tell you more about her in a bit. But first, show dates, people, show dates. These are a little far off in advance, but just going to start giving all my Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island peeps a little heads up. I'm going to be performing at Comics at Mohegan Sun on December 30th and January 6th. Those are I think they're like 4 o'clock, 4:30 p.m. shows. Just a little heads up on that. If you want to come see me do some jokes, could be a fun time. And today, yes, right now, if you're listening to this on the day of release, November 29th, I'm going to be doing another Fan Whore Facebook Live Hangout at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I have totally given up on figuring out Eastern Standard versus Eastern Daylight. Stop trying to explain it to me. If you want to come hang out, I'll be answering some questions. I'll be proposing some discussion topics and giving you some behind-the-scenes deets on my life. Head on over to the Man Whore Podcast Facebook page. But to stay up to date on all the new and latest Man Whore Podcast news, just head on over to manwhorepod.com. Sign up for that mailing list. I got some special announcements coming out in the newsletter this month. So do that. manwhorepod.com. Holy shit, I gotta say, I gotta say a big old wow. I gotta say I'm blown away. I put out last week a graphic. It's just simply hey, like if anybody wants to buy me something, holiday wish list. I essentially don't expect anyone to actually get me anything from it. On it, there's like a free section, which just says stuff like tweet about the show, share it with your friends, leave me a rating and review on Apple Podcast, stuff like that. I don't expect people to actually buy me shit, but you all fucking continue to blow me away and astonish me. So on Thanksgiving night, this is a real true story. Thanksgiving night, I just finished going to a very fancy dinner place for Thanksgiving with my mother and one of my sisters. And this is a place with a dress code. I was nervous that they wouldn't let me in because maybe I wasn't wearing the right clothes, because it's the type of place like where the men have to wear a blazer and I got to wear like a certain type of pants. And I have to wear I'm not allowed to wear certain kinds of shoes. They say no tennis shoes. I'm like, does that include Converse? I don't know. But these Converse are the only shoes I own that don't have holes in them. Shout out to Austin on the West Coast for those. So I'm like, I get back and I'm stressed about money. I'm literally scrolling through the Craigslist gigs section when I get this email. And this email is from someone, a very special someone, a longtime fan of the show, Andrew. We're just going to say Andrew R. He got me a $400 Southwest gift card. Yeah. See, on the graphic on my holiday wish list, I do say plane tickets under the life-changing section. But again, I don't expect people to spend that type of money on me. I mean, shit, I'm just sitting here every week trying to get people to throw down $1 on my Patreon. I don't expect anyone to go buy me plane tickets. But lo and behold, this person, this very kind individual, $400 Southwest gift card, which is going to cover my flights to Las Vegas and Northern California and back to New York as I go cover the AVN Awards in January. So super stoked about that. It's just like a huge relief for me, a huge weight off my shoulders. Oh my God, knowing that type of money is saved. It's like I may not have a gazillion listeners, but like the fans I do have, well, fuck. Y'all seem to like me a lot. So this year, I am grateful to have, Man Whore Podcast fan whores who support me as I, encroach on 1 full year of self-employment. And you don't have to drop $400 on me to blow my mind wide open. Okay. I promise. Seriously, all of you people who pledge just $1 per month on Patreon means the fucking world to me. This guy just happened to do that 400 times over. So that's what I'm grateful for this year. A lot of people tend to go to the go-tos. You go to your God person or persons that you like. You go to family. You go to partners. You go to being grateful for health. I am grateful for you all. Whether you're new to the pod or been listening since 2014, since the beginning, I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful that you're here. I'm grateful for your downloads, and I'm grateful for whatever dollars you can send this way. So shout out to Andrew R., longtime fan whore, big time Patreon supporter. I think I'd have to look it up. I feel like you've been around since I first launched the Patreon years ago. So like big ups to you, dude, and big ups to everybody else listening. And look, to make me happy, you don't even have to buy me anything. Buy yourself something. Go ahead and buy yourself a Man Whore Podcast t-shirt or hoodie. Yes, we have the very first Man Whore Podcast t-shirts are still available for a limited time only until next week. Yes, these sales end next week, December 5th. So go get your t-shirt or Man Whore Podcast hoodie today. They say, keep calm and stay slutty. And on the back it says Man Whore Podcast, just to let everyone know what show you're representing. Head on over to teespring.com/stay-slutty. Don't worry, there's a link in the show notes and it's plastered all over my social media. Go ahead and get yours before December 5th. You're not going to be disappointed. Get yourself some Man Whore Podcast swag. Or even better, get one for you and get one for a partner in your life who you think needs to keep calm and stay slutty. All right, before we get to this week's guest, Amber Rollo, got a very special thing to read. So here's a fun reward that is rarely taken upon, but I'm so enthusiastic to finally give out. At the $20 level on my Patreon page, you get to own 60 seconds of airtime every month. Yes, every month, if you're at that level, if you send me something to read, I will read your words verbatim on the show. Is your time. And Owen writes, I asked my wife to find a dirty historical letter. She found this gem from James Joyce, and I only want this opportunity to make others smile, laugh, and maybe remember my name. My wife only wants to be recognized as Owen's wife. She's a little bit shy. But right now we got some airtime belonging to Owen P. Very enthusiastic fan whore, big fan of the pod, and a $20 Patreon supporter who is owed this. So here we go. From the words of James Joyce. Is a letter from James Joyce. My sweet little whorish Nora, I did as you told me, you dirty little girl, and pulled myself off twice when I read your letter. I am delighted to see that you do like being fucked arseways. Yes, now I can remember that night when I fucked you for so long backwards. It was the dirtiest fucking I ever gave you, darling. My prick was stuck in you for hours, fucking in and out, under your upturned rump. I felt your fat, sweaty buttocks under my belly and saw your flushed face and mad eyes. At every fuck I gave you, your shameless tongue came bursting out through your lips, and it gave you a bigger, stronger fuck than usual. Fat, dirty farts came spluttering out of your backside. You had an arse full of farts that night, darling, and I fucked them out of you. Big fat fellows, long windy ones, quick little merry cracks, and a lot of tiny little naughty farties ending in a long gush from your hole. It is wonderful to fuck a farting woman when every fuck drives one out of her. I think I would know Nora's farts anywhere. I think I could pick hers out in a room full of farting women. It is a rather girlish noise, not like the wet, windy fart which I imagine fat wives have. It is sudden and dry and dirty. Like what a bold girl would let off in fun in a school dormitory at night. I hope Nora will let off no end of her farts in my face so that I may know their smell also. You say when I go back you will suck me off and you want me to lick your cunt, you little depraved blackguard. I hope you will surprise me sometime when I am asleep, dressed, steal over to me with a whore's glow in your slumberous eyes, gently undo button after button in the fly of my trousers, and gently take out your lover's fat Mickey. Lap it up in your moist mouth and suck away at it till it gets fatter and stiffer and comes off in your mouth. Sometimes, too, I shall surprise you asleep, lift up your skirts and open your drawers gently. Then lie down gently by you and begin to lick lazily around your bush. You will begin to stir uneasily then. I will lick the lips of my darling's cunt. You will begin to groan and grunt and sigh and fart with lust in your sleep. Then I will lick up faster and faster like a ravenous dog until your cunt is a mass of slime in your body wriggling wildly. Good night, my little farting Nora. My dirty little fuckbird. There is one lovely word, darling, you have underlined to make me pull myself off better. Write me more about that and yourself, sweetly dirtier. I hope that the lack of personal or political gain will justify the length of this entry. Who knows? Maybe you can start a segment of historical lit erotica. Thirdly, do you have any recommendations for best practices for starting a podcast? Oh, you son of a bitch. I don't think this is part of the James Joyce letter anymore. So in this email, there's like a normal plain text font. There's no background to it. And then the James Joyce letter section, he has highlighted. But I think he highlighted the rest of his email. So I couldn't... I'm not entirely sure. Yeah. Not entirely sure where this ended or where this began. Very fun. Well, thank you, Owen. Thank you, Owen, for that submission. That was great to read. And if you would like me to read your words or someone else's words verbatim for 60 seconds once a month, head on over to patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Pledge at least $20 and the airtime is yours. Wow. Part of me wants to go fact check to see if this James Joyce letter is real. But another part of me doesn't, because I so want it to be real. I don't want to see proof or evidence otherwise. It is wonderful to fuck a farting woman when every fuck drives one out of her. Poetry, everybody. Poetry. Okay. On to this week's guest, Amber Rollo. Okay, so Amber is a fellow stand-up comedian, and her and I did a roast battle last week at the Stand Comedy Club. If you didn't attend, well, fuck you. No, you're fine. It's cool. It's totally okay. So we wanted to exchange some dirt to be able to ask some questions, to find some material to make fun of each other for. I already knew that she'd been a stripper. But I wanted to know more, and I thought, come on, do the podcast. We can interview each other. This is one of those fun ones where you have a guest who's not shy to ask me questions about myself. So we did that, and we exchanged some dirt. Led to me doing things on stage like calling her Little Horfin Annie. because her parents are dead, everybody. You get it? I had a lot of fun talking to Amber about all sorts of fun stuff. We really get into it on this one. And if you can't get enough of Amber, you know what? Tomorrow, I've got a bonus episode with her coming out on exclusively on Patreon for my $5 and up fan whores. Again, that's patreon.com/manwhorepodcast to get access. But for now, let us leave James Joyce and let us get into my conversation with Amber Rollo. I understand the people who do, and I'm like, mazel, but just chill out just a little bit. We're not there yet.
Whatever works. Whatever floats your boat. It's fine.
Do people ever go to you and be like, no, you have to identify this way? Be like,
No, nobody has so far. I mean, I've heard people talk about the issue of the term bisexual and how it's, binary. And gender is fluid. It's not a binary system. So I get that. I've just been using that term since I was a teenager, and I identify with it, and it feels natural to me. So that's what
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And anything,
what about you? What do you identify as?
Somehow straight, I think. I don't know. I cry during a lot of movies, but for some reason I still kiss girls. I don't know. Yeah.
Have you ever experimented?
No, like I've seen a lot of dicks in person because like I go to sex parties and then I've done like a lot of weird Craigslisty shit, and I've seen enough. I've been able to recognize when like I find like a dude's like attractive. I'm like, oh, it's an attractive dude, and every time I scan down, as soon as I get to the cock, I'm like, I just have no interest in that part. Like maybe I'm into just a man's abs, but then part of that is like I think it's more I'm envious. So I'm attracted to these attractive men because I want to be them.
When I first started getting in touch with my sexuality, I thought men's dicks were horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Like they're just weird. I think it took it took some getting used to. And women I was automatically attracted to, and then men I was like, we'll see about that.
Interesting. Normally I hear the story like going the other direction. Be like, oh yeah, like guys, because that's the status quo, and then but these girls make me feel funny.
Yeah,
but you're like, I
was like, I'm into girls. Because I was a girl at the time. I'm saying girls, not sure. Yeah. And
in light of a lot of the accusations in the entertainment industry, it's probably good to say like, no, I'm not into little girls now. I was into little girls when I was
now.
a little girl.
When I was a girl, I was into girls. That's I think the healthy way to be.
Yeah. But I'm here right now with comedian Amber Rollo. Is it Rollo or Rollo?
Rollo. Actually.
Is Rollo?
Yeah, Rollo.
Has everyone just been telling me the wrong thing?
People say the wrong things. It's fine. I don't really correct them. A lot of people say Rollo, like the candy. I think that just rolls off their tongue easy, but it's Rollo. It's Italian.
I got a Presida, also Italian, and everyone always mispronounces that, including like at my college graduation, the guy handing me a diploma in front of my family. It is what it is. But I want to have you on not only because of your history, but we're going to be doing a roast battle in a couple weeks.
Yeah, we are.
And what better way to get...
tear you down.
Oh, probably. You sounded so polite when you said, I'm going to tear you down and then I'm going to cook your supper. Yeah, no, I thought this would be a great way to get dirt on one another. It sucks when you have to do a roast battle against someone you don't know, and then you're like just trying to comb the internet, and maybe you have questions, but you don't want to ask because
there's plenty out there about both of us that we could get a lot of dirt.
Well, I know up front, I know there's the stripping.
Yes.
Because I listened to you on the Hot Mess Comedy Hour.
Yes.
Which I was like, oh, she's fantastic. And I was like, but that's like easily the first thing. But let's get into that. Wait, so you started stripping when?
I started stripping...
We both, by the way, have notebooks out because we're like ready to take notes.
Yes, I was just going to ask you, is it okay if I take notes?
Absolutely.
Only because of the roast. I wouldn't normally during a podcast take notes.
She writes her own show notes for the show. She uploads them on her website.
I started stripping 3 years ago. I only did it for a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And wait, how old are you?
I am 29. I'm about to turn 30.
Okay.
On the 30th, it's my golden birthday.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. So wait, what brought you to stripping?
I was curious about it, and I met a comedian. You might have met her or heard of her. Her name's Jack the Stripper.
Yeah.
And I met her at a show and she was talking to me about it. And I've always been curious about it and wondered, what it was like. And it seems like some good money to make off the patriarchy. If people are going to comment and look at you and sexualize you, you might as well be making a buck off of it. So she told me it was pretty simple. And I asked her questions about how to do it and how to get into it and how to interview. And she walked me through the whole process and took me to my first club and tryout. Yeah. And it was fun. It was interesting. It was different than anything I'd ever done before. And yeah, I made a lot of money, a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like $1,500 a night money.
And you weren't doing anything else at the time?
At the time, I was doing some comedy. I was stripping 3 nights a week. And then I was designing websites. That's what I used to do to make money. But I didn't need to do that. So that fell by the wayside. Yeah. And
then comedy's got to hurt because even whether it's an open mic or even if it's like a bar show or something, even if you're at a comedy club, just you go to a club on a weeknight and it's got 20 people in the crowd. Or you could be stripping and make a boatload of money with I don't know, how many people will be in the crowd on a random night?
Oh, I don't know, about 50, but it doesn't matter how many people are in the club. It matters if you get private dances and take into a champagne lounge.
Yeah. Break down the economics of being a stripper for me.
Okay, so you have to, if you're on the floor, if you're giving lap dances and stuff, then you're in the rotation to get on stage.
Okay.
And there'll usually be 10 to 15 women there. So they just roll through those women. And even if you're in the middle of a lap dance, they'll call your name a song before you're supposed to get on stage. And then you have to say goodbye to that guy, even if he wants 5 more lap dances, and get on stage. And then you dance for 3 songs and then you get off stage. So the goal is to get out of that rotation and get into a private room, into a champagne lounge or a blue room or a safari room. And those are different levels of fancy, expensive rooms. So the champagne lounge is semi-private. It has couches, and it's dim. And you have your own little corner, but there's still other women in there with other clients. And then the blue room is private, but it's a smaller room. And then the safari room is private, but it's larger and has a pool in there and stuff.
And because you could go on a safari in there, I guess. I don't know who's naming these rooms.
The managers of the clubs are naming the rooms, and they're usually born and raised New York dudes. Italian, I guess, mostly.
And what are you making in those individual rooms?
And it depends on the club, but in the champagne lounge, I would make $500, in the blue room $800, and in the safari room $1,000.
Wow.
For an hour.
Wow. So for an hour.
Yeah, for an hour.
And what are you doing for that hour?
You want them to pay for more than an hour because obviously. I liked to work on bits in the room. No, I would just talk to them. Most of these guys really need someone to have a conversation with, and they don't feel comfortable opening up if it's just a friendship or a conversation with their wife. For some reason, paying makes them feel more comfortable opening up. I would ask them a lot of questions, make a lot of eye contact, dance, of course, give lap dances, drink. I was drinking a lot. That was a problem. You're not allowed to say no to a drink.
Really?
In most strip clubs.
You got to be able to say no at some point, no? Because then you're just going to have sloppy strippers.
No, but there is an out. You can say yes, and then you give a code word to the bar, and they give you a virgin drink.
Yeah. Okay. So,
but if you say no, you lose the club money. So they're not going to say, you can't say no.
Right, because if you don't get the drink, maybe he just doesn't order drinks at all, and you want him to order the couple drinks. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And in the room, you want them to get a bottle of champagne. You want them to get a fancy bottle of champagne or whatever, if you are a vodka person, whatever.
Yeah. It's interesting because you're saying these guys just want to pay someone to talk to.
They
Now,
do.
there is a profession for that. There's a therapist.
Yeah.
But
that's for pussies.
Right. But I also understand the desire to be like, just to upgrade it for a little bit more money or maybe a lot more money. You can upgrade it to like a naked woman to talk to, because I like getting massages. I love getting a real massage. But if you look at how much like a legit massage is and how much a happy ending massage is in New York, like the market rate, you go like, it's not that much more. Mm-hmm. And I can get a good quality massage and a hand job or a blow job. So I always go with like a happy ending massage from a good provider, because I'm like, it's almost economical for me, because otherwise if I have to separate those two acts, pay for a massage and pay for a hand job elsewhere, I'm spending way more. Yeah. So I kind of get the idea of like, well, I need a therapist, but I want her to like have her titties out.
Yeah.
That concept I can understand.
Yeah, it may get in the way of, talking about some of your sexual issues with your therapist, but, whatever.
Sure.
Whatever floats your boat.
And why'd you stop stripping?
Too many comedy shows.
What a great see, most people would be like, why in the fuck would you do that? But you're like, no, this is good. This is a good thing.
No, I know. It's a really expensive dream to have. But
everyone has their own path in comedy. Some people were Sam Kinnison's bodyguard, and some people, were stripping and then got booked too much.
Yeah, it's for the clubs that I was working at, they want you to work 3 nights a week. You get to choose your own schedule because strippers are independent contractors, but they want you to work 3 nights a week. And if you don't work, then you still have to pay the house fee for that night that you weren't working. And it just didn't make sense. What about you? What day jobs did you have? You had?
I've run a gamut of day jobs. This is going to be interesting because this is one of the few episodes where someone will actually ask me questions.
Yeah.
Which is like great, awesome. I used to, let's see. Most recently, I was a fact checker at gossip magazines.
Oh.
I worked at, like those just gossipy bullshit ones. But like they have a fact checker. Like if we say Justin Bieber does cocaine and fucks boys, I would have to like check the source that says that. Or I'd have to say, hey, we're taking this out of context, so we gotta like take it out.
We gotta throw it out.
Yeah, or it's like he only fucks boys when he's also with girls. Like we have to also throw that in there, or we'll get sued. But most of it was just making sure we got Kim Kardashian's like age correct.
Does Bieber do cocaine and fuck men?
I'm not allowed to say what Bieber does. I was just giving a random example.
Oh, okay. Yes. Random example. Got it.
It's not like certain like R&B superstars keep a fuckboy in Italy that they just pay for the house of it and all of his expenses for. That doesn't happen at all. I can't say. I'm not allowed to confirm that.
I mean, it could happen, but hypothetically.
But anytime you see stuff like that in a somewhat reputable like celebrity magazine, like when they say sources say, there are sources. Like, that's a real thing. Like, and the fact checkers, we're the not fun people. Mm-hmm. We're the ones who have to say, no, like, we're taking this out of context. Or, like, I would have to check stuff with Zac Efron. We would say, like, oh, he has a cocaine problem. Mm-hmm. But he only publicly said he has a drug problem. So even if we know, quote unquote, it's cocaine, we have to say it's drugs or bullshit like that. I don't know. One time I argued over a hyphen. And then I wanted to shoot myself in the mouth.
Yeah.
Because Kaylee Cuoco got married to Ryan Sweeting, and then legally her name changed to Kaylee Cuoco, dash Sweeting. Mm-hmm. And I had to have a fight with the copy department that we had to put in the hyphen. And then I was like, what the fuck is my life? So I quit.
Why were they fighting against the hyphen is my question.
Because it doesn't look good.
Oh. Well.
And also people don't know Kaylee Cuoco Sweeting. They know Kaylee Cuoco.
Yeah.
So it takes people some time to get used to it. Mm-hmm. Bullshit like that. So I did that for 3 years. And before that, I was an underground poker dealer.
Oh, yeah. Poker dealer.
I did that for 4 years. I also used to deal blackjack in my mom's basement in Jersey. I used to... before that, I used to like sell fake IDs in college. I did textbook buybacks. I webcammed for a little over a year.
You webcammed?
Yeah.
In front of the camera? What did you do? What were your
Whatever-
clients like? What did they ask for?
Typically, at some point, they wanted me to touch my penis.
Typically.
Yeah, typically.
Okay. And how much did you make doing that?
I would charge. This is back before the token system that is like currently in place in Camland. But the site I was on, you got to choose your rate, and then you got half. So I would charge $3 a minute.
Okay.
So I was getting $1.50 a minute, and similar to like when you're in like say the champagne room, like I am trying to keep them talking.
Yes.
So I would never do any.
You want to delay.
Absolutely.
Give them just a little taste and then delay again.
Just keep them in the paid room for as long as possible. So like I wouldn't do anything unless he told me or asked me to. Like I didn't take my shirt off till they'd be like, you should take your shirt off. Sometimes we'll be talking for 40 minutes, 45 minutes. They'd be like, hey, so you're going to get naked? I'd be like, would you like me to get naked? You never asked.
Yeah.
And then they realize what the game is, and they're like, okay, do this and that quick, hurry. They realize that they're on the clock. And then, like I said, like I wouldn't touch myself till they told me to, or I wouldn't, more importantly, I wouldn't come unless anyone told me to. That was the big thing. It was like I would hold out and I would only come on demand because if I come, the shit's over.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely. Did that affect you anyway? Do you think now you can't come unless someone tells you to?
No, but I certainly enjoy it more. I certainly like a woman in charge, but I always kind of liked a woman in charge. So, like I always prefer to be given instructions or to follow directions. I like to do a good job. I'm a pleaser. So even if it's like spanking the shit out of her and giving her bruises, like I can service top. It's more like I do that because I know she wants me to beat the shit out of her. I don't enjoy that really at all unless I know she likes it. Then I'm just happy. I'm like, I'm giving her what she wants.
You said when you were talking, you just said you gave an example of a man watching you on the webcam. Were there ever women who watched you? Just not.
There was one that I think was actually, there were a lot of people who claimed to be women.
Oh.
And the way I would get around it was to say, hey, like, if you're actually a woman, if you get on the, because there was an option for like a proxy phone call. So you didn't give your number. You both called a number and hit a passcode, and then you would be in a phone call room while you watched. I mostly opted for this with guys, partially just because it was like easier. I didn't have like a mic or a headset. I was on a MacBook Pro. So if I was far away, I couldn't sometimes I couldn't see the text as much, or I didn't think they could hear me. So I would always opt for that. I always thought that was better. But I would always tell them, if you're a woman, if you just voice confirm for me, I will give you a discounted rate. I'll bring it down to the minimum, I think was $1 a minute. So I was like, I'll bring it down to $1 a minute if you just want to confirm right now. And they never did.
They never confirmed.
It's always a dude.
Yeah.
It's always a dude. But I was fine with that. And I wouldn't play if they want me to pretend that they're a woman. Like I'll play along if that's what's gonna get you hard and get you off. Like whatever. I do all sorts of weird things.
I wonder what's behind that. Why do they want to be a woman?
Well, I was on the site I was on. They had two different. They had different pages. They had obviously like the women, like girl Home Alone. They had the group stuff for couples. But they had boys Home Alone straight, or like straight boys Home Alone, and gay boys Home Alone. Now, I didn't even realize that this was a more marketable thing. I was just being honest. I was like, I'm straight, so here's the straight boys Home Alone part. So I think a lot of them were like, well, maybe he doesn't like guys watching him, so I'll pretend to be a woman. It'll turn him on more. That's probably what it was. But, I was like, look, I'm going to jerk off whether you're a dude or a woman or a squirrel. I'm going to do it either way. So so long as your credit card passes, I'm fine.
I'm a big fan of the fact that they use boys rather than men, because you just so often hear women referred to as girls, but you don't as often hear men referred to as boys. Except for in that like very specific sexual context. It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's like let's have this like slightly pedophilic language for both genders equally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that I did for about a year, and I made good money. I was making like anywhere from, the minimum payout, you had to earn 100 to get a check. So I would get like $100 up to $500 a week. And I would just do that like casually when I was home, like doing homework. Mm-hmm. I'd be like playing Madden, you know, this is my junior year of college. So I'd be like playing Madden. And if someone pings into my room, then I'm like, boom, hi, what's going on? Yeah.
Did you
Yes,
change
my
your
eyes
voice?
are blue. No, but you know what's embarrassing is my username was college_comedian,
Oh, wow.
which how dare I claim comedian? I had been doing it for about a year. I've been doing stand for a year, and I was like, no, I'm like a comedian, and I jerk off for money. So
So it's going well for me,
yeah,
obviously.
it's going so well. Please go follow me on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I did do one in person meetup for money. Mm-hmm. That was a nice premium. I got $100 for a half hour, and just to go like jerk off like in this dude's apartment.
Nice.
Yeah, so
$100. You could have gotten more.
I don't know. Like it was about the same. It was not, the body was not that much different than it is now.
It doesn't matter. It's about, the act of coming into someone else's space and being there personally inhuman without anyone else controlling the space. Like you could have gotten more.
Well, I tried to upsell him because he wanted me to come in his mouth. I was like, well, you can't like put your mouth on my penis. That would cost a lot more. He's like, how much more? I was like, I don't think you're going to want to pay it. He's like, fair. What if I just like open my mouth? Will you like shoot into there? And I tried to be like, well, that'll be like 200. And he's like, what if it was just the normal price? Will you can you shoot into a glass and I can drink it in front of you?
What?
I was like, I don't want to.
No, that's like 500. I'm sorry. Now you're getting into kinks. This is
Yeah.
different. We should have worked this out ahead of time.
Well, this is all like in the emails, and I go, I don't want to watch you drink my cum. Like at the time, I was 20 years old. I am not used to being nude with other men. Now it's like an every other Saturday night occasion for me. But I was like not used to that, so I was like, well, it's going to be extra if I have to watch you. Mm-hmm. So what we agreed upon was the 100. I would shoot into the glass, and then he took the glass to the bathroom and he slurped it in there.
Oh my God.
In shame. In shame.
Did he tip you?
No. But I'm not a big fan of tipping when it comes to sex work where you're dealing with independence. Unless like unless you have the means and it was a stellar job. That's different. Like I believe in tips as in like a tip, like an optional thing to show your appreciation. Like you did a above and beyond job. I also happen to have the means for it. Here's extra whatever. Mm-hmm. When you're dealing with someone who's working under someone, like let's say at a strip club, there's the house. Or if you're an escort and you have a handler or a pimp, like there's a house. Mm-hmm. But when you're an independent, like you're the house.
That's
like,
true.
I used to deal.
So you're setting the price. So if you want more money,
just
you
tell
should
me that's
make a higher price.
Just tell me that's what you want.
Yeah.
I have tipped a couple times when the service was really cheap already. I mean, because I don't have a shit ton of money. So I was in Menor, Ohio. I was actually just there like on Wednesday, but I was there back in like June or July, and I got a happy ending massage in town because I had a lot of time to kill the day of the gig. So I found this woman, and I think it was like $60 for like a massage with a hand job at the end. And the massage itself, hand job aside, the massage was so phenomenal, and it was only $60. Where the market rate in New York City is like at least $200 for the hour, and that's like a floor, really.
This is something I don't know about. How do you find out if a place gives happy endings?
Oh, you know.
No, I don't.
If their ads
are
are
one
women,
knows or because
one can know if you're looking at their ads. Well,
okay.
There's one thing. It's like if it's let's say it's like an Asian massage parlor. If they're advertising with women in bikinis, it's a happy ending massage place. With independents, a lot of it has to do with where are they advertising. Now that's getting a lot more tricky now. I don't know how much you keep up with all the federal government trying to take down these websites. They just shut down Eros, I think, this week.
I heard a little bit about that.
And Backpage, their adult services.
Backpage, I know, got shut down. Yeah, that's sad.
That's
really sad.
And that was their one of their safe havens where they could safely post, where they can post their own. I mean, being able to post allows you to like do all sorts of screening. And then if you have to like do it through Craigslist, I don't know. I am told that Backpage is very helpful for them. And
That's
a John,
I've been told from other sex workers that Backpage is really helpful. And it makes me sad to see that independence be taken away from sex workers.
And what's also annoying for both from the sex workers and for like, let's say what you would call legit massage. That's what the massages where they're like no funny business. Now they're all posting in the same place, and now it's all convoluted. So legit masseuses are getting what otherwise would be considered sexual harassment, but it's sexual harassment that I kind of almost understand because they're like just trying to find out because we used to have a system. If you were in adult services, that was the happy endings. And here's where, if you got sexually harassed in that time, he's just an asshole. Now it's more like, hey, do you jerk dudes off? It's like, I understand why he's asking because there's a shit ton of ads of people who do.
Yeah.
And so they're getting bombarded with guys who want sex work and they don't do that. Then there are the sex workers who like are having a hard time being found amongst that, or they're getting reported because they're in like the quote unquote wrong. It's just all fucked up. But Backpage is a great place, or was a great place for that. And you can just tell by the ad. You can see what they're into or what they do. Like some of them will even say it. Like one woman who posts a lot for many years, and I just recognize her ad. She doesn't do oral. Like I know not to even ask. She doesn't do oral. She says it in every ad. No oral, no FS, no full service. The language that they use in sex worker ads, I think, is brilliant sometimes. Like one time in college, there was a Craigslist ad, and the woman said, like, let me, it was for like happy ending massage, but she said, let me know if you want me to sing Billy Joel or Frank Sinatra. And I was like, that's so fucking smart.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. I forget. It was how do I know? You kind of know.
You just know.
Yeah, I mean, you can talk like, do they use words like sensual? Do they say like, my hands will leave you very happy? There's you just read it.
Yeah,
and you can. And when someone's legit, they will not advertise any of that stuff. They will not make it sexual at all. The pictures are very professional.
That makes sense.
And the worst case scenario is like you can also judge by price. So that's another, like if someone's charging $200 for 1 hour, that's a very pricey legit massage or most likely a happy ending.
Okay.
And that's usually how I know.
Okay.
But me, I can't afford to miss. So I use sites like the Erotic Review where I can just go search. And if they have reviews there, at least I know like they're in that industry. Because I can't afford at the moment to like go get a massage thinking I'm getting jerked off at the end. And then I don't. I'm like, I just can't. It's on my budget. Like that will blow my entire month's massage budget.
What are you doing to make money right now?
Mostly just the podcast.
Congrats. That's awesome.
Trying.
Yeah.
And then I also host some speed dating events on the side. Oh yeah, I forgot. We're building dirt, Billy. We're getting dirt. I host some speed dating events on the side. That's about it. Some odd jobs here and there. And so
Sorry. So earlier before we started the podcast, we were talking a little bit about your parents and your parents having money.
Yeah.
What is your relationship like with them? Where are they?
My parents are divorced.
Okay.
My dad works real estate. He does like real estate investment of some sort. It's always changed. He's always been in real estate, one form or fashion. His family's company was construction, then he got into more like development, then it got into like real estate banking. So right now he runs a fund where he does a lot of like borrowing and lending. Used to actually work for Trump. My dad was a Trump guy. Like if you look in the early 90s, there was this big article, and I forget if it was the New Yorker or some other big publication, but the title was it was a profile on my father, and it was titled "The Boy Who Would Be Trump." Because he was Trump's youngest senior VP. This was back in the 80s. My dad did that thing that you used to be able to do. You wrote a letter to someone every single week until they gave you a meeting. And then eventually he like went in and he was like 25 or something. And he got Trump just out of the blue to be like, yeah, okay, we'll hire you. And then he was like he was a senior VP like at 25.
Wow.
So when The Apprentice show came on, a lot of outlets started having my dad come on as a talking head because they were like, well, this is his original apprentice or whatever. But now he's
Trump was kind of your dad's mentor.
Yeah. So he does that. And my mom is, divorced my dad, lived off that for a good while. And now she is a real estate broker.
What does your dad think about Trump now?
Every time I say, hey, how's your guy doing? He says, hey,
not my guy.
Not my guy. I was like, did you vote for him? He said, yes. I was like, that's literally meaning this is my guy. I wasn't happy about it, but I clicked the button and said, she's my girl. And you clicked the button and said, he's your guy. And for 4 years, here's your guy. If you don't want to be your guy in 4 years, pick someone else. That's literally how voting works. So he's not a
So
fan.
he's distancing himself.
Yeah, I think he's realizing like it's not so great. I think he still stands by him business wise, but I think he's realizing that the guy's Looney Tunes.
Yeah. So do you see them often? Do you guys have family dinners?
Yeah, we didn't talk for about 2 years. I like took myself out of the family, and I was like, "Hey, we don't get along together. Why are we faking this?"
Yeah.
So I took myself out, but about a year or so ago, I brought myself back into the fold and like made it. We all
Oh, good.
try to play nice.
Do they listen to your podcast?
I don't think so. I don't care if they do, but I'm pretty sure they're all like, we don't want to hear about Billy's dick. We don't want to know about the orgies. We don't want to hear it. Mazel, congrats on whatever, but no.
Yeah, I wouldn't. If I, just not that, but if I was if I was your parent, I wouldn't want to hear about my little boy. Yeah.
Getting blown in the middle of 17th Street. Like, right.
No.
You don't want to,
No,
you want
you
to know
don't need
these
to know.
things. Although I do want to have like one of them on. I think that'd be fun.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Yeah. Have on like mom or dad, be like, what went wrong?
Have them both on.
Maybe episode 200. Who knows? So they know about the show and they're fine with it, but I don't think they listen. But so they work, divorced. I don't really try to take the money. My dad's one of those guys who like hung money over your head when we grew up. So if we like got something, or like I went to boarding school, I still don't hear the end of that. And it's just more like, oh, like you have to do X, Y, and Z and you will get this. And I'm like, I don't want that axe over my head where like I have to do whatever you say because you gave me X, Y, and Z. So I'd be like, I'll go without that. I'll have holes in my shoes. That's fine.
I get that.
Yeah.
That's why I never had a sugar daddy.
You never did. I was going to ask, what are you doing now for money now that you're no longer taking your clothes off?
I design websites and I produce comedy
Back to
sketch
that.
videos.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then I do videography sometimes. Whatever pays the bills.
But does your mind ever just like miss those big pays?
Oh, yeah, it absolutely does. I was eating so much more like lobster and oysters back then. Now I'm not. I have a lot of ramen.
Do you ever consider going back?
I've thought about it, but I've since gotten sober, and that's a big deterrent to not going back.
Do they not allow sober chicks in?
They do allow sober chicks in. I mean, there are women who work there who are under 21.
Okay.
So those women obviously aren't allowed to drink. They have to wear a special wristband showing that they're not allowed to drink. And yeah, I probably wouldn't be encouraged to say that I'm sober. I would still be encouraged to say I'm drinking and then just order fake drinks.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I just don't want to I don't want to put myself in that situation. I do miss it. I miss not only the money, it's fun.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's attention and yeah, it's fun. I feel it's like there's a control to it, which I like, but I don't have the time.
I'm too busy getting booked.
Well, comedy and stripping is both at night.
Sure.
Well, I did try daytime, actually.
Oh, but I can't imagine that's good. Tell me the horror show of the daytime shift.
It's not a horror show. It's not. It's
Who goes to the strip club during the afternoon on a weekday?
older men who are there on their lunch break. There's a lot of like lunchtime special dudes, and they know what they want. They know how the strip club works. They have a routine, and they go for it. I like that. I like that they're that you don't have to explain the rules to them. There's no like bachelor parties coming through. There's no like dumb 20-year-olds who you have to, keep on retelling them to get their hands off you. It's not it's very easy. It's just a lower traffic level, and the prices are cheaper. And lower traffic, so you make less money.
Right.
I was making like $500 a day when I was working daytime.
Oh, I'm only making $500 a day. Fuck this noise.
That's what.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I was like, no,
Amazing.
it's not worth it. I'm done.
Okay. Ooh, boy, the holiday season is upon us, and that's why I want to tell you about this week's sponsor, the Motor Bunny. You've heard oh so much about it, I am sure, most likely from yours truly, because oh gosh darn, I am a fan of this one. And now the Motor Bunny, I don't even have this capability. That's how new this update is. The Motor Bunny now has Bluetooth remote capabilities. Yes, that means like if you've got your girl on the Motor Bunny, in one room and you want to go make a sandwich in the kitchen, you can just take the remote with you on the go. You don't have to end her good times to go make your sandwich. That's fucking awesome. Yeah. And the Motor Bunny is offering a $50 discount for fans of the Man Whore podcast. All you got to do is go to motorbunny.com and use the promo code MANWHORE at checkout. And don't balk at the price because Motor Bunny offers affordable financing options for as little as $25 a month. Head on over to motorbunny.com, poke around, check out your financing options, and don't forget to get $50 off when you use the promo code MANWHORE at motorbunny.com. Again, $50 off with promo code MANWHORE at motorbunny.com. When I'm home and horny and bored and I'm like, I really want to have sex right now, but I think I gotta just jerk off because, all my present partners are currently unavailable or living deep in Queens. I log on to the Pure Hookup app to find me some hot, fun, simple, casual sex tonight. And I got to be honest with you, anytime I log onto the Pure Hookup app, whether I'm here in New York City or when I was out doing a gig in Cleveland, I'm always seeing people show up in my vicinity. Go download the Pure Hookup app today on Google Play or the App Store. Pure, the hookup app that says it's a hookup app. Now let's get back to the show. What was the worst part of working at strip clubs?
I try really hard to, when I speak about stripping, to battle the negative stereotypes that are out there, because I think a lot of people think it's a very sad place. Sure. And I just don't believe that it is. I think that there's a lot of positive that comes out of strip clubs, and I think that it can be very empowering for women. I would say, though, the worst part of strip clubs are the people who run the place, the managers. They're dicks.
They're dicks.
And they're taking your money and they're not doing shit.
And they just don't, and they just kind of not care.
They don't care. They'll be nicer to you if you flirt with them a little bit. I didn't care for them. I didn't like them. But I liked the bartenders. I liked the bouncers. The bouncers are the best because if some guy crosses a line and you want him thrown out, you just right away. At least the clubs that I worked at. I've heard of other clubs who are not as women friendly, but in the clubs that I worked at, we were always believed. And I think that's because they know that women ultimately want to make money. So they're going to try to not kick a guy out. They'd rather just take his money from him, which is how I felt. I was like, but if, some guy kept on crossing lines, which there were times when guys did, I would get the bouncer to throw them out. And it was great. It was very empowering because it's my space.
So you were fine with keeping a dude who was like being a problem. You'd rather be like, let him be a problem and give me more money.
Exactly. I would smack him on the hand. Then I would be extra sweet in order to take his money from him. Because I was like, that's more of a revenge.
That's deviant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or devious.
Devious.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's wild. Yeah. Like a slow bleed, a slow death. I'm going to bleed him dry. Don't just like kick him out and give it to him easy. No. We'll kick him out once he's broke.
No, kick him out. No. Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Once he's broke. Once his card's declined, then fuck it. I'm not being nice anymore. Then like, get him to get another woman into the room, get him to like pay more, get him to buy the extra fancy champagne, get it like whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, what is like lap dance etiquette? Because I've only gone one lap dance. I was not a strip club guy. So first strip club I go to, I'm 20. Some girl I was seeing, I was in New Orleans and visiting some chick, and she's like, I want to bring you to a strip club. She was older and excited. So she brings me and she's like, I want to buy you a lap dance. I'm like, okay. And then I sit there and I'm trying to be respectful and all that stuff. So the woman's giving me the lap dance. I'm not like going to grab her tits from behind. I'm not trying to like grab her crotch, but she's giving me a lap dance. So I'm touching very light. Like I'm touching like the kind of the outside of her legs and like outside of her, like the flanks of her torso and stuff like that. I think maybe even shoulders. like just being like very considerate, but like touching a little bit because no one gave me a rule book. The dance is over, and the I forget what her fake name is on this podcast, so I won't say it. Whatever her name is. She says, "Wow, she must have really liked you." I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "She let you touch a lot." I was like, "Wait, if that," and that's when I knew strip clubs weren't for me, because if that's a lot, no, thank you. Because it was like I was touching very little to not get in trouble, and apparently that was like over the top. Like, are you not supposed to touch her at all with your hands?
Like anything else, it depends on the woman.
Okay.
And it's all about enthusiastic consent.
Do you? So if I'm a consumer,
but I would say what you described is pretty average
Oh,
for
okay.
a New York strip
oh,
club.
this was.
So
New
I don't know
Orleans,
where
but-
you were. Oh yeah, it depends. It definitely.
Sure.
It also depends on the city. But what you described is pretty average for a New York strip club. There are women who let you touch more. There are women who prefer you keep your hands to your side. I would just say always ask
Yeah.
before touching. Like, is it okay?
It's okay if I
you
touch
here?
your. Yeah.
If I touch your legs, can I touch your ear? Sometimes women will take your hand and they'll put it on them so
And-
that they can guide you and they can say like, this is where you should be holding, or this is where you can touch.
Is there possibly a thought that for some women, if you are asking and you are being super respectful like that, you might actually even get to touch more?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
like, let's reward this guy. He can have a handful of titty because he asked just to touch my leg.
Absolutely. Also,
You hear
though,
that, guys?
Yeah, absolutely. There are women who will give you more if you are polite and nice to them. It's just common sense.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like a breath of fresh air.
All right.
When women come into strip clubs, they usually get more leeway. As far as like when we give a woman a lap
Yeah.
dance, we're just going to let them do more because you don't see as many women, and we trust them more innately.
Mm-hmm.
And they sort of become part of the club because there's often not a woman's restroom, so they have to go into the dressing room. It's just, you get more of an insider view if you're a woman coming to a strip club.
Do you get women coming in though and being a problem as well? Have you, or I should say, have you ever experienced
I haven't
that?
personally experienced it, but I know of strippers who talk about it being a problem. I know Jack the Stripper talks about it, about women coming in and like wanting more attention, wanting the attention of, and you're like, well, this isn't about you. You're not performing. Like, this isn't your
Yeah.
job. Don't take money away from other women because you want some attention that night.
Yeah.
If you wanted the attention, then go and try out and be on the stage. You absolutely can. It's not like a high bar of who can be a stripper.
Male entitlement might be about like power and like decisions and ownership of a woman's body, but I feel like female entitlement comes with for the attention. Be like, but I'm like a hot chick. Why am I not getting? Why are you getting attention on the pole? I'm the hot chick. Everybody, look at me. I'm gonna be drunk and obnoxious. Would you say that's
I have definitely met women who are like that
Yeah.
and get most of their power from attention. And it's something that I know that I crave and have to be aware of and careful of.
But you get to be because that was the job.
Yeah, that was the job. And also I'm a stand-up. So being on stage, I mean, I'm getting plenty of attention.
Sure.
Yeah.
And now you have you currently have sex with a boy. You have one of those boyfriend things.
I do. I have a
That
man.
was great.
Yeah.
Very funny. Also comedian, funny guy, Gabe.
Uh-huh.
Am I allowed to say his name publicly? Is that?
That's
I
okay.
don't know.
It's not, we're not, we don't hide the fact that we're dating. We just we're just not very loud about it either. Cause it's
Okay.
like it's our private, there's not a lot that comedians have that are private, that is private. And you get to, it's like our treasure that we get to hold on to.
We're allowed to have a few secrets, I
Yeah.
think. Someone was recently asking me. I was I forget who it was, but I was walking with someone who listens to the podcast. They were like, "Do you like have any secrets?" I'm like, I mean, like I have like 2 or 3 secrets that I haven't shared. Some of them are I think most of them are sexual, and they were like, "Oh, I want to know what they were." I was like, "No, like I'm just not."
Sorry.
I'm not famous enough where I feel like I can say them and then I can always still fall back on something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, I think we're allowed to have something to hold on to that we really like, whether it's a deep, dark secret fetish or if it's just like something that you really like to do. That's a hobby that you don't want people to know about. Or if it's a partner that you don't want them in the public eye because they're not in the public eye and, you know, you get to have something to yourself. That's a nice pleasure. I feel like entertainers should make sure they have.
Have you ever dated another comedian?
I have slept with comedians. My friend Andrea Allen and I, we dated briefly, as in like we tried to go on dates and realized that like my penis was terrified of her, so we couldn't really do that. She's the only woman I consistently had like hard-on issues with, and we still don't know what it is to this day. But it's very fun to know we were very good friends. So I wouldn't say I've dated comedians, but like I've hooked up with several. Actually, I mean, I've only had 2 girlfriends ever. I had one when I was freshman year of college. Then I had the one that just ended about 2 months ago. I mean, part of the reason I started this podcast was because women would sleep with me, but they wouldn't date me.
What? Oh, yeah. That's why you started the man whore.
Yeah.
Why the term man whore? Like, what are your feelings around that term?
Well, for one thing, when I was trying to pick a title for the podcast, it was one of many things on the board, and man whore was something a couple women had called me in like almost a fun way. It was supposed to be like semi-endearing and affectionate. When you hear the word man whore, you don't picture me. You picture maybe a better looking version of me, but you don't like, you picture a guy with abs, hung cock, like suave, doesn't have thin hair. In my opinion, when I picture man whore, I picture someone who's like objectively super attractive across the board to like men and women everywhere. So, and also you picture kind of a fuckboy. Man whore, you think like, here's a guy who's trying to slay puss. He's trying to add notches to the bedpost. He bangs bitches on the weekends. He makes mad money during the week. That's a man whore. And I'm so not that guy. Like, this show isn't bitches I banged with Billy Procida.
Mm-hmm. I like the term man whore. I used it in college, and I would imagine like you. I wouldn't imagine like a suave, like handsome prince type man, Ken doll. I wouldn't imagine that. I would imagine sort of an average, because it's the term that we use to fight slut. It's kind of like satire. Like, oh, if you're gonna call us out for being sexually active, then there should be an equal term for men. That's man whore. That's what came about, and I liked it. I was like, oh, that's cool that there's. It's the same reason why I like that they use the term boy in your
right.
I'm like, if we're gonna
have
be
something
fucked up, then we should just be fucked up across the board.
But I like using slut as like an agender term. Like, I think like we should be using slut more, and it should like I'm very slutty. Like, I am a slutty person. That's fine. I like to use the ethical slut stuff. Have you read that book? Really great book. It's about polyamory and just sex positivity and general sluttiness. They redefine slut as like anyone who thinks like sex is fun and like pleasure is good for you or whatever. So like a slut could be a person of any gender, of any orientation, blah, blah, blah. So, but man whore, I think is used more as a derogatory term, like you say, except I am like this man whore with a heart of gold. Cause I was sleeping around a lot, but I wanted a girlfriend. I wanted someone to love me back. But every time I wanted to make things more serious, it was always the woman who told me that she just wanted to keep it casual. And so, I was like, I just got fed up. I was like, I want to find out why. Who better to ask than to ask them? And then let's try to like, I don't know, monetize it. And so, for like 3.5 years, I've been asking them like, why didn't we work out?
And what's the general answer? What's the general consensus?
I think most of it, because when I started the show, I was 24. So a big part of it was chill the fuck out. It's
You're
okay.
24.
Yeah, there was a huge that factor. But I think one thing I did learn, that I can be slightly condescending, especially to younger partners, because they are younger, and I don't know how to like, even if I'm right about something. I don't know if you've ever like dated people younger than you, but sometimes they're just like are wrong.
I find
no
when
fault
I date
own.
men that are the same age as me, it feels like they're younger.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's because I'm a man and they're a woman. I said that opposite.
You did.
Very
it's
telling.
okay.
Very telling. It's actually funny.
No, come on. Bring it out. Get vulnerable.
this is a dumb story, but when I was 14, I had a hernia. And I had it in my lower abdomen, and I don't know if you've ever seen a hernia, but it's like just like a little bulge under the skin, and I thought that I was growing testicles.
Wait, so lower abdomen, like above the pubis region?
Yeah, like above the pubis.
So like right
region.
around like the waist?
Yeah.
Oh my god, you were like, oh no, my balls are gonna start dropping.
Yeah, and it explained so many things. I was, like I said, I was attracted to women, and men kind of grossed me out, and I just have a lot of testosterone. I'm hairy. I'm very strong. So I was like, oh well, I guess my balls are dropping.
Yeah, maybe I was a boy this whole time.
And I hid it for like a year because I didn't tell anybody because I was embarrassed. And then I finally told my aunt, and I had to get surgery. But I thought I was a man.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to have I sometimes get told I have like more feminine energy, whether it's because like I cry a lot or I knit. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. I get told that, and sometimes I'm like, fuck, like I need to get my testosterone checked. Every time I watch a movie and I start bursting out in tears, like alone in my room, I'm just like, maybe I need to get some tests done. I don't know.
I need to figure out why this is, but I have a hard time seeing men cry. I should be more open, but it makes me uncomfortable. I don't know what to do.
It's discomfort, or do you get like not turned on? Like, what is it that
I'm turned off and I want to leave the situation.
Okay.
And I know that I should like instead, be loving and open and give them a hug, but I just
hug would be nice.
Blech, no. None of that.
What is it about it? What is it? Is it the aesthetic? Is it the seeing a man crying? Is it that there are emotions in play? Can you see women cry fine?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But women can
be beautiful when they cry.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah.
I have no problem with that. Their voice goes up an octave. I don't know.
But when the guy's voice goes up an octave, it can be,
it's off-putting.
It's unsettling.
And I know, and I just recently saw a man cry, and I need to figure out why this is.
Why was he crying?
I can't say.
I don't know who he is.
It's nobody you know.
No?
It's just I was in a meeting, so
okay.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm not allowed to.
It's one of those meetings where you can't even say what meeting it was. Mm-mm. Yeah, no, that's fair. Mm-mm. That's fair. I get that.
Yeah,
I get that. Although I do find 12-step meetings to be a little bit like open mics for people with opinions.
Yes, absolutely. I say it's like an open mic, but funny.
Oh. So you don't like it when guys cry. Fair enough. But so I think that came from the man whore thing. And it was just like, yeah, I like it as a term. I think it's fine. But I didn't claim it for myself. It was given to me. And I chose it partially because like, ooh, marketing. Like it's just it was just the better title.
Yeah.
I forget what was even up for debate back then. But
Fuckboy would be a good one.
Yeah, but you can't put that on iTunes as much. I could put it now, but that was pre guys we fucked paving the way absolutely. On iTunes to put fuck in your title.
That's true.
Yeah. That's amazing. So you and Gabe have been together how long?
Just under 3 years.
Just under 3 years. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, so you started dating him like right around the stripping.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right before or right after you started?
I started dating him right before I started stripping.
Okay. And was that a conversation?
Yeah, I had a conversation with him and asked him how he felt about it, and he was very open and accepting.
He seems like a good feminist guy.
Yeah, he would never say that though.
he seems like, well, I don't say it either.
Yeah,
I specifically don't
like
say I'm a feminist just so I can set a low bar. Because if you go around as a man, especially like a cis straight dude, being like, yo, check out how much of a feminist ally I am. What's up? If you fuck up, what's the first thing they say? You're a bad feminist. You're a fake feminist. So what I do is I go, you can't say that. I never claimed I was one.
Interesting.
I'd rather just do it. And then if you guys call me a feminist, you can, but like I don't claim the title.
I don't know about the bad feminist thing that you were talking about before, but I do agree that men shouldn't call themselves feminist. It should be name given to them by women.
So it should. You're saying it's fine for a man to be called a feminist, but it needs to be a ceremonious gifting.
Yes.
So like you have been inducted into the feminist
it just
society.
doesn't ring true. It's like saying I'm a nice guy. If you have to say I'm a nice guy, then you're probably not.
Right.
Why? Methinks thou doth protest too much. It's just
Right.
it doesn't feel right. Just let people say it about you and just treat women with respect. And then that's it.
Yeah, and Gabe seems like that guy. Gabe seems like the type of guy where, like, if a scandal of him sexually assaulting someone came out, we'd all be so heartbroken, like, just because we thought so highly of him.
He's one of the good ones.
He is one of the good ones. Ladies, we can keep him around. And are y'all monogamous or non-monogamous?
We are only seeing each other at the moment. He has said that he's open to me seeing other women, but I just haven't had time.
But not other men.
I think he would be uncomfortable with me seeing other men.
Do you think part of that is that he understands that, well, she's bisexual and that's an itch that needs to be scratched a little bit, so that's cool, and also like I'm the only dick in the room type of thing?
I think he's I think he thinks it's an itch that needs to be scratched. It's actually, it's a very interesting line. Even if he said I could see other men, I wouldn't want to.
Aww.
I just don't feel the need to. And also it's kind of a relief to be in a relationship so that I don't have to, I don't know. This is going to sound conceited, but I don't have to turn down so many guys when I'm in a relationship. Yeah. I mean, it gets to be annoying.
It's so rough just being
really,
wanted by everybody.
It's really difficult.
Rough life for you.
I know.
Yeah, I had to quit stripping because I was getting booked on too many spots. These days I'm just making too much money.
I'm a very humble person.
Very humble. Well, that's wonderful. And do you eventually want to get married? Is that something like in a life you see for yourself?
Yeah, I do want to get married because I want to have kids. And
you don't have to.
I know.
I
know you don't, but it's easier legally with like public school systems if you are. It's
sure.
I've seen my sisters go through it, and they've made clear that it's easier if you're married. So I would like to. That's something I would want to see.
Time for the fan whore appreciation moment. Okay. I think some of y'all love this part and some of you loathe it. So get ready to hit the fast forward button if you need to. But yeah, this is the part of the podcast where I like to thank some of the members of my fan whore community on Patreon because gosh darn it, are they awesome. First up is Peter J., who is quite active in our super secret Facebook group, The Champagne Room. Peter's great. I look at him and he's this big, strong, burly bouncer type guy. Like in a movie, like you say the wrong thing in a bar and everyone's quiet and this big burly dude goes thump, thump, thump towards you and you're thinking, oh fuck, this guy's gonna beat the shit out of me. And he like leans down and you think, here it comes. And he just hands you a daffodil. He's such a sweetheart. Cool dude. Thank you, Peter, for supporting the podcast. We love you. And next up is Cassie M. Ooh, girl, hey. Cassie's also very active in the Champagne Room and our Kick group, The Peep Show. Thank you so much for your enthusiastic support and your supremely kind offer. And you too can join our fan whore community for as little as $1. Wow, what a steal. During Cyber Monday week. Yeah. You can get access to various bonus episodes of the Man Whore podcast, access to super secret Patreon communities, and a whole lot more. All you got to do is go to patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Become a member today at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. If you pledge at least $5 a month, you'll have access to my bonus episode with Amber Rollo, which comes out tomorrow. But for now, let's get on back to stripper times. Before we end, do you mind? I want to do something that's not like roasty related. I had a guy email me and said he wanted to. He asked me if I would critique his sexting novellas.
Sure.
He sends me this email, and there were two. I think he sent like two things in it. Let me just find it here. Sexting. He sends me things like, hey, like I've been like complimented a lot on like my sexting capabilities. Sends me an email saying, new listener, rate my sex novellas, which is a lofty way to refer to your like fuck texts of like they're novellas. And he says,
sex novellas? Why doesn't you just call it erotica?
Yeah. Right?
Like, yeah, erotic fiction or something, or
yeah, especially if like they're going to be this long.
And also, why is he sending it? He could put that on Literotica
and get actual
reviews. He could get feedback. People comment on those all the time.
Why does he want Billy Procida to fucking review them? Ugh. But he said, and I've noticed some of the he likes sexting. I've had a few guy friends have me write sex for them. And I've had girls reach out to me for a sext with no intention of us doing anything, solely for the enjoyment they get from reading. Oh man, I'm totally going to lose a listener by mocking him. I wanted to see if you would bring these up, review, critique, and discuss.
Sure.
Always writing more, and feedback is always appreciated. You and the podcast crew seem like a top-notch squad to get critiqued by. So yeah, you're top-notch squad.
Sweet, I knew it.
Squad goals. So why don't you do like a dramatic reading of this one, and I guess it ends. Oh wow, that's a lot. Maybe we'll just do the one. We'll see how long that goes.
Okay, but before I do this, I do not consent to any of this being edited and cut up to use against me in the future.
Absolutely.
Okay. You are visiting on a work trip and are impatiently waiting for your driver to arrive at the airport. You arrived a day early to relax and let off some steam. You don't notice me approach, but I introduce myself as your personal transport and help you into the car and load your luggage. After I shut your door and slowly walk to the driver's seat, I had to ask myself, did she feel the same thing when we locked eyes?
Oh, God. Already, this is just a tale gone wrong. This is just a tale of like a guy who thinks, oh, this woman looked at me, so she's into it. Is this Louis C.K.? I don't know.
My question is, why did he have to walk slowly to
I thought that too!
You centrally walking to the other side of the car?
I walk so sensually around this vehicle.
Okay.
I sensually put on my seatbelt.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Burning and aggressive passion set a spark inside me, the kind of lust everyone dreams of when in private. We were nearing our end when you rolled down the partition, and as the window fell beneath your eyes, I could see you staring back at me. In one swift motion, you uncrossed your legs and then crossed them again, but it was undeniable what happened. You weren't wearing any panties, and you wanted me to know.
I think it's undeniable what happened in that she just probably wanted to say, hey, can you turn the air conditioning up back here? It's like Uber porn.
Could you turn on K Earth 101, please? Once we arrived at your hotel, I remind myself that I am just your driver. I assist you up to your room and make a trip back down to get your remaining luggage. When I knock on the door, it's already ajar. Uh-oh. Don't go down into the basement.
Don't go in that room! Don't go in that room! What are we in a movie theater on 125th? What's going on?
As the jar falls open... Doors don't fall open.
Okay.
No. Okay. Sorry. Okay. I see you standing in the light with nothing but heels on. Ooh-wee. Before I can even bring the luggage inside, you've grabbed me by my shirt, pulled me inside, and slammed the door behind me. While I'm still stunned in a moment of bliss, you throw me to the edge of the bed, and as I lay on my back with my feet still on the ground, you slide my pants off and crawl on your knees between my legs and take me in your mouth.
This is one way to get 5 stars rating on Uber.
You keep making eye contact with me as you deep throat my cock, and I feel it hit the back of your throat. It isn't long before I give in.
Stopped and made one hell of a face.
It isn't long before I give in and grab you by the back of your hair and pull you on top of me. But you're not letting me get it that easy. You sit there straddling me as I sit on the edge of the bed, and you push me back down as I look up at you. You slowly pull your dress up over your head, and I'm reminded you're not wearing anything underneath. Wait. She's not supposed to be wearing anything except for heels.
Yeah, what happened?
He already said that.
Doesn't that
Continuity. It takes me out of it. I was already imagining it in my head, and you just messed up my whole picture. Okay.
Does that happen to you when you read erotica?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, you're just like, come on, man. Mm-mm. Keep it believable.
No. Your sexy bare body beneath sends me into a fit, and you can feel my hard cock pulsing beneath you, wanting to be let in. You push me on top of my back and slowly crawl over the top of me, your tits slowly bouncing across my chest and then face.
Tits don't slowly bounce.
That's not how it works.
They bounce.
Mm-mm. Unless you're in like some sort of anti-gravity chamber.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Your bare stomach tracing its way up mine. You crawl past me until your dripping pussy is right above me, and you drop it onto my face. What seems like hours pass, and you can no longer support yourself on your trembling knees. I crawl out from underneath you, and you collapse onto your stomach. I pull you off the bed and take you to the window overlooking downtown. Pinning you up against the window, I take you from behind as your tits press against the glass. As your knees get weak and the wetness is dripping down on your legs, I throw you over my shoulder and onto the bed. This guy's strong. I flip you over onto your back and see the glimmering in your eyes. Pleasured and satisfied, you want more. I throw your legs over my shoulders and thrust deep as you gasp in satisfaction. The gasps turn into moans and then screams. At this point, you catch a second wind and take control again. You wrap your legs around me and flip me underneath you. You pin my arms down and graze your hard nipples against my face as you slide your wet pussy up against my dick, teasing me and not letting me in. You eventually sit on it and brace your hands up against the wall as you bounce up and down on my cock, rocking the bed. Your legs go weak as you come again and again, and you collapse on top of me. I added an extra again. I'm sorry. Oh. Your pussy pulsating from the orgasm as I come to.
The writer's just being like, you read it the way I wrote the lines.
No improv. In a sweaty heap lying on the bed, you look at me and grin, throw me $100 tip and say, thanks for the ride. Pun. Adding on a pun.
What are your thoughts?
Well, the continuity break did really mess me up. Mm-hmm. I wish that he had given more of a lead in before her just putting his dick in her mouth. I wanted more of a description of what each of them looked like. I personally would have been into that. And
that helps you cast it in your mind.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Although not too much of a description because I want to be able to add
right.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
I want to be able to fantasize myself what I think these people look like, because that's the whole fun of reading erotica, is you get to like cast it.
Yeah.
But that would be. I think it was okay. It was good. It was good erotica. Not like nothing. It didn't do it for me, but I think it was written okay.
Adequate.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's a weird problem, and I don't like it when they change positions too much in a story, but also you can't stay in the same position. There's only so long you can describe the one position.
It's only so long you can say up and down and up and down.
And up and down. And it was really warm, and then I paused, and then I was up and down and up and down.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think there was no foreplay for her on her part. No?
She did climb up and put her pussy on his face.
Okay. It seemed like such a very short portion.
It did seem like a shorter portion.
No description really of like an in-depth description of the taste and texture.
No texture.
No description of like, was there hair? How much hair? What type of labia did she have?
That's what I want to know. Yeah. That's what I want to know. Mm-hmm. And I want to know the feeling. I don't want to know just the action. I want to know the warm, enveloping feeling that he has. That's what
warm enveloping already.
See, boom.
You could say warm enveloping. You turned on a bunch of people just now.
You're welcome.
Well, Patrick, just work on your continuity, man, and just make that whole going down on her thing a little bit longer, okay? Mm-hmm. I'll put it this way: I very much noticed that she had your cock in her mouth. Totally missed the whole pussy eating part. So, do that, And so now you got the attention you wanted. Okay, dude, you got the attention. Whether you like the way the attention came out or not. Amber, thanks so much for coming on. Thanks for exchanging some dirt with me. Where can people find you? You mentioned you have a podcast out right now called Daddyless Issues.
Exactly.
Is that Daddyless like with a hyphen or no hyphen? We know how I feel about hyphens.
It is with a hyphen,
Okay.
indeed. And yes, feel free to listen to that. It's on the Keith and the Girl Network.
Oh, is that a VIP show?
It's a VIP show.
Ooh, so
yeah.
I think you have to. Don't you have one of those like special
I have
sign
a
up
code.
Cody things?
Yeah, you can use the code Amber.
KTG.com, I think it's /VIP.
Yes.
And you use Amber and you get some sort of special deal.
Yes, it's $13 off if you use the code Amber.
Not fucking bad.
Not bad at all.
all.
And you can also go to my website, amberrollo.com, AMBERROLLO.com. And there I have a calendar. You can see what shows I'm on, and you can see video sketches that I've produced and all that jazz.
Remember, she's on a lot of shows. So many shows she had to quit stripping. All right. So go check her out. Amber, thanks again. You were great. Why don't you say goodbye to everybody?
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.
I got this tweet from @neon8919. All right, Billy Procida, you've got me. I'm officially a patron at only $1 per month, but hashtag pay for content. Well, thank you so much @neon8919. Thank you so much for joining up, and I hope you too will become a member of my fan whore community and support the Man Whore Podcast by heading over to patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. That's patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. But here you can also do this, and it costs no money at all. Follow me on the social medias. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram @TheBillyProcida. Use the hashtag ManWhorePodcast. Let me know what you thought about the show. Join the conversation with your fellow fan whores on the Man Whore Podcast subreddit. There are individual comment threads for every episode, and I also post links to, all the places and things you can see and hear me on. Don't forget to get your Man Whore Podcast t-shirts. Limited time only. You will not be able to get these after December 5th. Seriously. Go to TEESPRING teespring.com/stay-slutty. Again, that's teespring.com/stay-slutty. There will be a link in the show notes and on all of my social media. Go get your t-shirt or hoodie today. Next week, we've got a fantastic episode with the founder of the, we'll call it a lifestyle membership club, NSFW, Daniel Saint. Really cool fucking episode. Be sure to tune in next week and be sure to stay slutty.